Good morning, all. Hicktown, isn't it interesting? So much happening. Woke cocoon. That is exactly what we're trying to keep an eye on right now. Woke cocoon is what will it bring? I still expect our news to be slow until we get through tomorrow. Patriot hero. I feel lied to by Sudan. He said he would revalue. He did say that was the goal. He has also had one crazy plateful with everybody throwing everything at him. I think he's going to pull it in the next short bit during the lame duck, but we're going to talk about that this morning. We got some articles out of Iraq to discuss and what they may mean for us. Hello, Jet, Shoshler, Bill. Hello, Coco. Hello, Fred. Texas Girly Girl and Fluffy Pup. Hello, Kevin. Hello, Mods. The number of folks commenting on the handles. If you notice, like, conservative sites, they'll mess with your chat handles, but they don't seem to do it in liberal sites. I wonder if there's any correlation, if we're just making it up, or just it appears that way to us. Judging from other content creators, etc., it seems to be very biased against conservatives. Maybe they can piss you off enough to not watch any conservatives. Well, I don't even know if conservative is the right word. Historically, I'm a liberal because I believe in free markets and individual rights, but they keep changing words and meanings. Grayson's birthday today. Oh, wow. Hello, Grayson, and happy birthday. Yeah, Grumpy, there you go. Happy birthday to the United States Marines. All right, you devil dogs, happy birthday. I see Joe checking in from Clearwater. Melion, Evie, Scooter. Wait. Scooter says happy birthday to me, right? The core. Happy birthday to you guys, or for you guys, or you know how that works. Little Johnny rules. Al Sudani stated on national television the monetary reforms will be wrapped up and finished before 2026. That's why I'm beginning to believe the ruminations of my one of my contacts there that said it's his belief that as soon as they wrap the election, they'll pull it because they have what's called like a caretaker government. In other words, you can get away with a lot. Doesn't affect elections. They can't claim that you did, or even say that you only changed them to win the election, meaning changing the rates to win the election. The more and more news I read out of Iraq proper, the more things to me point that way. Let's see. The Gateway Pundit had a good article today exposing NGOs, Dems, and big companies. Navy D, I will look for it. Perhaps it'll give us something to chat about tomorrow. Let's see the West Virginia. Snow in the West Virginia Panhandle. You're hoping for snow. Miss your Vermont winters. Oh, no, I don't miss those things. I see Deborah's son, Evan, celebrating. Miss Jeannie, not the best way to do it. My 57th yesterday spent in the hospital with my 3 kidney stones. Yay, not. No, I can't imagine, but happy belated Miss Jeannie. See somebody's Patriot Snow Wolf's friend Rick celebrating. Let's see. Fun Paul. Carly Joe Johnson's a young lady in her 20s, been fighting cancer for many months. She's now on total organ failure, and her family has been called in. Please pray for them and the family. Someone else on that front, one of our own, Brandon, retires a year later, cancer riddled through the body. fighting that one with hospice. So prayers for Carly Joe Johnson, for Brandon, anybody suffering, especially from that one. Mark, really think Dems stopped the shutdown is because they had holiday plans and don't want any air travel mess ups for themselves. They don't care crap about the regular people. We're going to talk about the shutdown and the breaking of the shutdown and the enormous happening over the weekend leading into this morning on that front. Oh, freedom fighter girl, my sister-in-law passed away yesterday from an aneurysm, only 60. That is a sad thing. Freedom fighter girl, prayers for your family. Whip, yeah, good call on that one. I got to remember to do that. Let's do it now. Well, if I can get to it. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. The Fed's out of options, rate cuts, money printing, balance sheet reversals. They call it policy, but it's really panic. Boy, look at the panic going on today on that front. This is endgame economics where hope replaces discipline and the illusion of control finally breaks. They're not cutting rates because things are strong. They're cutting because the system's cracking. Inflation's eating savings, labor market stalling, confidence in the dollar is fading fast. For decades, the Fed built a house of paper. Now they're striking the match that could burn it down, leaving you to pay the price. Every cycle ends the same way. Bubbles, bailouts, broken retirements. That's why smart investors are moving to what's real, gold and silver. It's the last time you actually held the wealth you spent your life working for. My friends at Noble Gold Investments have been helping Americans move from paper wealth into real, tangible assets. Numbers on the screen disappear. But physical gold and silver, they've outlasted every crisis in history. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit today, or markzgold.com. Discover how simple it is to protect your future. Well, if you think about it, it's really to protect your past as well, to hang on to those fruits of the labors. Yeah, gold and silver running up. 2K dividend checks. Yeah, that's to be discussed today. I think it was pretty masterful on the political side for Trump to mention it the way he did. The question is he going to uphold and are the Republicans going to help on that? Catherine Austin, no, she's not very pro-Trump. She brings up some excellent points. I'm not certain she's as up to speed on some of the things that we believe to be true. Well, I'm positive she's not because she thinks they're cuckoo. But she's very grounded on the fact that metals is the answer. We may disagree on the problems. We definitely agree on the answer. We're going to talk about the stimulus checks. Worry not on that front. Just trying to get through the greets and the Twitch folks getting here before we dive into the news. See Frank's wife, Wanda, celebrating today, birthday. Man, it's ripping. Jackie, and nobody's sleeping with me anymore. We're going to have to work on a new Sleep with MarkZ commercial. We'll have to maybe we can do that. They can change the on Matt's Delta 8's label. She will. I don't know when we RV. Do I think it's very possible to go by then? Absolutely. Stimulus checks, dividend checks. We're going to talk about it. Worry not. Slow down, folks. The receipts are coming to you. I believe that article, I'm trying to remember if that article was a Zero Hedge or was a, let's see. That was an Epoch Times one. Happy birthday, Bigfoot. Whoa, y'all are ripping. D-Nuns. Did you see the New York Stock Exchange is moving to Dallas, Texas? They filed a move in February after seeing Momdani polls were favored. People not paying attention yet. Money is going to go where it's appreciated and where it's the most efficient. It may not be the ideal system, but that is the way it works in the world. See, Hexath offered reserve military traffic controllers to help with the shortage. Oh, that is awesome. Sherry, it was a funny commercial. Just trying to read. I mean, the commercial didn't say anything wrong, but just it was funny. It was funny. Where we at? We're close enough time-wise. Let's get to it. Pitter patter. It's time to get at her, folks. A funny one. I put the link in there. Well, I shouldn't say a funny one. Thinking what? This lady just nails it on reality. I dropped that link in chat, and it'll be in the links today. I'm not going to take away precious time with it, though. Iraq and 9 Arab countries have about 1,500 tons of gold reserves. Boy, they keep reminding of this, us of this, and a couple other reminders they have been making that we're going to talk about today. Before I get there, though, no bond updates yet. I'm not expecting any news until at some point tomorrow, but nothing from groups. Don't even have a response from my banker friend in Virginia that is supposed to help with transactions and wealth management. It is very quiet so far. Don't let that panic you. That's to be expected. All right, now let's get back to news time. I just wanted to get ahead of that before we started getting all the spam questions. So 1,500 tons of gold reserve, Arab countries alone. That, of course, is if they are reporting and recording all of their actual reserves. Many countries are hedging now that are sitting on more. Not saying that Iraq is. I'm just saying it is highly possible, especially if you consider historically they do have a gold-producing region that they are bringing back up to speed in mining. Backs the currency. We're going to talk about this one. Just what it may mean. Iraqi government enters the caretaker phase after elections start. What do we mean by that? What we mean is this is when they get things, in other words, the elected government from the past, or the existing one that we have today, gets to do things without worrying about elections. Which should mean they are taking care of business without politics being played. That would be an excellent time for them to change a value, because you don't have politicians interfering with everything for electoral gains. I think this one is a big one. That's why I'm very keen about the coming days, weeks, etc. Between now and the end of the year. I'm very upbeat about it. Holidays in Iraq for the current week. It is election week. They had, in some areas of Iraq, they had their special elections started yesterday. And was it, or today? Anyways, just started. What I mean by that is it is part of this election process. But let's say like active military, people that can't be or go to the booth on election day, including like prisoners that still have voting rights, where they go get their vote. The handicapped folks, the parishioners. In other words, they got a special day set aside for all of these exceptions where they get their vote. Kurdish region alone, 97% turnout. That is massive. The participation rate in the electoral process in Iraq is stunning compared to the rest of the world. Of course, most of the rest of the world is really solid. U.S. is just, well, apathetic at best when it comes to voting. Not saying you are or I am. I'm just saying population in general is pretty apathetic. When I see those turnout numbers, I think that speaks very positively for Iraq. The next parliament's required to legislate the oil and gas law. In other words, no choice. It's got to be finished. We had another good one on currency and foreign currency exchange rates. Let me see if I can find that one, because I had a good one that gave us what we were looking at, blah, blah, blah. Lots of them on different oil, things that lead towards HCl. We had one in somewhere here giving us the amount of currency in circulation and the money they had. Basically, they can afford, they have about 98 trillion in currency in circulation. They have enough foreign currency reserves and gold to cover 127 trillion dinar. Now, I want you to stop, drop, think about that one. They can cover all of it with 25% bonus. which means just that alone, they could justify a 25% increase in their money tomorrow. Just that alone. It is huge. Bobby, welcome to the AI, the very biased AI that we use, unfortunately. All right, now Iran. I want you all's thought on this one. Jerry's birthday. Yeah, it's all that blinking stuff. We really have to stop blinking. Tupelo, what do I think today about the Federal Reserve having a meeting today about foreign currency exchanges? It's been on the books for quite some time for that meeting. So I'm not surprised. I know there's a lot of pressure, and we have some interesting pieces from around the world on that front, because they were going to have a meeting about foreign currency exchanges. We've had a number of countries come out and say they are in the process of either redenominating, changing values, or printing all new money, which setting the stage. This is historically unusual. But I did want to get you guys' thoughts on this one. Iran is rebuilding its nuclear capabilities, and the possibility of flooding Israel with missiles. It's a matter of time. Israel assessments have increased that the new confrontation with Iran has become a matter of time in light of indications that Tehran has succeeded in maintaining a large part of its nuclear program. According to a report by the New York Times published on Monday, today, the damage caused by Iran by the attacks led by U.S. President Donald Trump has not reached the level of total destruction as previously announced. The newspaper quoted Israeli sources as saying that Iran's uranium stockpile can produce about 11 nuclear bombs. The 2015 nuclear deal with Iran expired last month, leading to a full reinstatement of sanctions and a freeze on any diplomatic track. According to the newspaper, Iran's estimated to be continuing to operate at a new enrichment facility known as Axe Mountain and refuses to allow international inspectors to access it. In another report published by CNN, Iran has resumed production of ballistic missiles, receiving between 10 and 12 shipments from China since late September, containing sodium perchlorate, a key ingredient in the manufacture of solid rocket fuel. Is this another excuse? Is this a true worry, concern? Is this regime making and change? Trying to get you all's thoughts on this one. Part of me feels very positive about it, and part of me is afraid that I am being duped like I was during the Bush, Cheney, etc. days. So I wanted you all's thoughts. Trust is my tank. My trust tank is very low. And that's, and is Khazarian good? Is Khazarian bad? There's so much to detract from that one, because we're told to support Israel, but is the Israeli government actually Israel, or just the people of Israel is Israel? There's a lot to unpack on that front. I am very against anti-Semitism. I'm against racism. Period. It's can be found at the intersection of hate and ignorance. It's the only place you find racism. Or reverse racism, which is just racism with a new name. So yeah, no dupe. That's what I keep asking myself. And I will continue to reflect on and dig deeper to make certain. Anthony writes, New York Times and CNN. How they always walk lockstep. But this story, I think you kind of see where I'm going on that one. Do I need to even take this seriously, or is this just engineering the masses for another excuse for to continue spending money for the military industrial complex? There's so much going on with that one. All right. Did see that presidential pardon 77 alternative electors and several top associates from 2020, according to Gateway Pundit. We've seen this throughout history where it wasn't that unusual as people fight to find out what really happened. All right, I did that part. Oh, no, we had another fun one here, guys. Swisher posting this one about Indonesia. Indonesia plans a bill to redenominate rupiah currency. Reminds me of some of the other countries that have changed values. They start this way. They talk about needing to redenominate. They talk about needing to print new currency. Now the people are totally expecting new currency, maybe even new spendings and values and all that. And it really is a great way to hide things with our eyes wide open in the public realm. And folks are start embracing it ahead of time. Yeah, nope, John, I saw the 2026. Would you say if you were going to change your value, would you tell them you were going to do it sooner than that? Or would you tell them further out and then you do it? Now, this one to me is textbook value change. If we look at history and study the correlations, the similarities, and my expectation is they're already printed. That's why I was thought that one was very interesting. Now, the Middle East is even more so than Asia. When you see an article in the Middle East, it was probably decided 2 weeks before, and they tell you they're going to decide in 2 weeks. Yeah, Senate to reach a deal. Yeah, we're going to talk about that one, Espresso. It is on the books for this morning. Wait, did I see somebody, Myron, for brother in the ICU? We need a great healing time in the country. Now, Trump proposes, wait, let me turn this banner off just so it isn't distracting me. Trump proposes $2,000 check to Americans from the tariff revenue. The Treasury has stated that $195 billion in custom duties has been collected in the first 3 quarters of 2025. And those numbers continue to go up. Of course, they're having a fight over it. Trump making that comment now. Now, of course, it would still have to pass Congress. It would still have to go through Congress and Senate. Not that going into the holidays, you'd want to be the party that did not vote for it. But it is ideal timing as we're going back and forth. Supreme Court has heard arguments. We're waiting for a decision on that front. Is Trump trying to manipulate SCOTUS? Is he just being Trump, trying to point out the benefits of tariffs by giving to the people directly a percentage of what's collected? It does get the people to publicly support tariffs. They're like, yeah, but those tariffs lowered my taxes and gave me a check. And boy, I had a great Christmas because of tariffs. And it only slightly increased what I had to pay for things. Oh, and my buddies got rehired down at the mill because they moved operations back to the U.S. This is like excellent public relations work, in my opinion, because it gets the people behind it. But I'm also worried, are they going to execute after? In other words, we come out, we get this nice, cool, fun article. Woohoo! We're going to support this. Now they get the vote they want, and they quit talking about we, the people. That's my only concern when I saw this one. They're going to have to follow through, or nobody's going to have faith in the administration. This is one, they don't have a choice. They have got to follow up on this one. Worst case, they get voted down, but they've got to push the legislation and push it hard. Yeah, they've talked. It's a lot of talk. Trump has said that he believes it should be a reoccurring thing every so often based out of the tariffs and dividends collected. A percentage goes to the national debt, percentage goes back to the people. There's a lot going on back here. Of course, nothing is set in stone yet. We're waiting to see some real legislation and some real movement other than just, well, hot air. It is interesting to watch this byplay, though, and I wanted you all's thoughts. Jazzy, question in that. Is it the money that will come to us, or will we have to fill something out for it? My guess is it's just going to be based on income. They said it would be everyone would get it except for high net worth or folks that really just don't need it. Although I kind of argue there's not really anybody that doesn't need it, because even if they don't need it, they could take it and go give it to somebody that does need it. The world is not fair, and it will not be until Christ returns. Doesn't mean we shouldn't strive to make it fair. IRS announces $32,200 standard deduction and how it benefits most families. This is all part of that big, beautiful bill, as it greatly reduces families' tax burdens as a major increase in the deductible amount of income. It's part of that big, beautiful bill. That reduction got much larger for families. Going to get you all's thoughts. Of course, I don't think we should have any income taxes. I know. I'm highly unpopular. Yeah, Trump pardoned Rudy Giuliani, pardoned all the alternative elector folks. And if we're ever going to move forward, we kind of had to. Oh, that's a good question on that dividend check. Would there be any taxes on it or not? That I don't know that answer. That I have not read on. Let's get to the Senate. Senate overcomes the filibuster to advance the bill to end the shutdown. Boy, did I find this one interesting. And why? Yeah, TP, not sounding ungrateful, but 2K is a drop in the bucket. It is a drop in the bucket for what we've been put through, but at the same time, it is a massive life raft for many that are suffering right now. I mean, more would be great, but that's a meaningful amount to many right now. Let's get back to the filibuster getting ended to advance the bill to shut it down. Just made the supermajority to 60 votes when Senator John Cornyn from Texas came scrambling from the airport to make it in time at the last moment to vote. 60-40 was the number, achieving the bare minimum needed to break the filibuster. Now, I did find this one interesting. We have a number of Democrats that jumped ship, 7 of them specifically. And boy, I tell you, Dick Durbin jumping really surprised me. Tim Kaine, Jean Shaheen, Catherine Cortez Masto, Jackie Rosen, Maggie Hassan, and John Fetterman jumped over lines. One Republican jumped over line to vote with the Democrats, that being Rand Paul. So what they did was they ended the filibuster. So now it doesn't require a vote of 60-40. It just requires a simple majority. 50-50. And then let the vice president make the tying vote if you need to. 51. Don't need the vice president at all. But I find it interesting. Rather than vote for the clean resolution for spending to reopen the government, it's easier for these Democrats, a few of them, I guess specifically there were like 4 of them, that weren't willing to vote for that, but they were willing to vote to end the filibuster. That's kind of their like sideways one where they can say, no, I didn't vote to do that. So they're still lockstep with the Democratic Party, but they've stepped out on ending the filibuster because they know what that means. We get the continuing resolution. So it's their way of passing the clean continuing resolution bill without having to vote for to end and fund the new continuing resolution bill. It really is kind of a passive aggressive way to do it, but they do have something to stand on. Remember, Democrats jumped through massive hoops in an attempt to end the filibuster under Nancy Pelosi. I mean, they did their best to end it. They tried to end it. They tried to end it during the Biden years, and suddenly they're like, "Oh my God!" Many of them out there going, "It's a tragedy. It is crapping upon our democratic system to end the filibuster, the same system that they wanted to end just a couple of years ago." Now they're saying they don't want to end it. I'm a little worried when we end things like that because it can be used against us when we're not in power. And that is true, period. Democrats seem to be like experts in passing bills that screw them later because they think they will forever be in power. Or even this one, they were trying to negotiate just a 1-year extension of those subsidies because they believe they will control Congress and the House in the next one, and then they can just pass them and force those to be continued into perpetually, or yeah, you got it, forever. Politics. As I watch politics play out, and the cannon fodder is you and I, but it will be very nice to get things back open, see if we can get some sanity. Yeah, I don't know what's up with Rand Paul of late, but I'm questioning Rand Paul a lot of late. Let's see, I'm not happy with this vote. So I am a federal employee. I have to worry about another closure in January, but SNAP not approved for a year. Yeah, no, Doxy, they have another standalone bill right behind it that will force them to approve much of government. In other words, they won't be able to close it down for a year separate from. Part of that would be SNAP, military paychecks, some of the necessary air traffic, etc. And Kennedy has put forth bills, a couple of standalones, to make certain that if they do shut down again, Congress and Senate do not get a paycheck. Oh, combination of that one, and if they continue to, he's got it like phased in to cut their pay massively if they don't balance the budget. Filibuster should be removed from budget votes. I will buy that one, Gramad. Nancy wants to know if anyone has been keeping tabs on all the nations announcing they're changing their currency. Yeah, where do we even start? Zimbabwe already in the process, looking to change the rest. Syria has announced theirs. Iraq's been openly talking about it. Indonesia, theirs. India, they. I'm trying to think of like all the ones out there have mentioned that they are looking to change currency. It's a pretty stunning number. Reconvening at 10 for Congress, Senate, etc. So anyways, the next step on the continuing resolution, now that Senate has ended the filibuster, the Senate bill goes back to the House for any changes. Senate gives another quick vote, and it goes off to the president. What I am being told is about 2 days, and they should have things wrapped. Could be sooner, could be after, but approximately 2 days is what I'm being told from my Beltway connections. U.S. government revokes 80,000 visas. The administration won't hesitate to revoke visas of foreigners who undermine our laws, said State Department official. Specifically, and I found some of these numbers to be, well, alarming. President Trump, Secretary of State Rubio, we will always put safety and interest of the American people first, the department said on a post on X. The department said in a follow-up post that visas were revoked for reasons including support for terrorism, actual terrorism, criminal activity, public safety threats, and overstays. I know we don't all have the moral high road here, but you're going to find some of these interesting. The State Department also said 16,000 visas were revoked in 2025 for driving under the influence, 12,000 revoked for assault, 8,000 were revoked for theft. The non-immigrant visa revocation numbers are from the beginning of this year, so we don't even have it like current. There's even more. But I did find that 8,000 lost their visa for theft. These are people that were not being removed previously. Largely, nearly overwhelmingly, were not being removed. I don't know about you, but if I go to a foreign country and I start breaking laws, it goes really poorly for me. Heck, if I go drink and drive in Costa Rica, I'm in prison for life. I mean, that's stout. But now they're mad at the U.S. for just sending them home when they break the laws. If you ask me, that is much kinder than any other country, which would have locked them up before allowing them to go home. So when I'm reading these and and then the numbers get even more interesting. I mean, we're talking about people rape, assaulting minors, some of the different things, and they're finally losing their visas and being sent home for that they were previously allowed to stay. And I'm like, yeah, that not our problem, not our monkey, not our circus, not our elephants. Just send them on home. Let their country have them back. BBC's boss and head of news resigns after facing criticism for editing Trump's January 6th speech. One thing I've noticed is BBC apologizes, but not for changing it. They're just apologizing for getting caught, and they're apologizing for what that may do to public trust. They want us to know that we should still trust the BBC, that they're a great news outlet, and they only messed up this time. Okay, not quite those words. The head of the BBC and top news. Wait, does everybody know what we're talking about here? How they edited, they took a clip from the beginning of his speech, a clip from the end of his speech on January 6th, and made it sound like he was wanting everybody to go back to the Capitol, fight, or we're not going to have a country anymore. You know, they selectively edit, mashed two clips together, and made him sound violent on purpose for their flagship panorama news program willingly and knowingly tried to change the opinion of everybody in the BBC sphere. So let's just wanted to back to that one. So some of you folks that may not have joined us Saturday or don't watch the news regularly probably don't have any idea what we're talking about. So the BBC, for their flagship show, would be kind of like 60 Minutes. So for their flagship show, they changed footage to make it look like Trump was, well, an authoritarian Nazi crazy person, when in reality, that's not what he said. And they spun it to affect public opinion. And so now we're going to back up. The BBC confirmed it was cutting ties with Director General Tim Davie and CEO of News, Deborah Turnus, in a series of statements on November 9th. The backlash has been extreme, folks, from around the world, and especially from government officials from around the world. Surprisingly, we're not hearing anything from the usual suspects. Wanted to let you know that I've decided to leave the BBC after 20 years. Davie wrote in a letter to staff members on November 9th. This is entirely my decision, and I remain very thankful to the chair and board for their unswerving and unanimous support throughout my entire tenure, including during recent days. So they supported you signing off on this. That tells me all I need to know. Davie, who worked at the BBC for 20 years, did not announce when he would leave his post, but said in a statement that he will help bring in a successor. Oh, somebody just like you. In these increasingly polarized times, the BBC is of unique value and speaks to the very best of us. It helps makes the UK a special place, overwhelmingly kind, tolerant, and curious. Like all public organizations, the BBC is not perfect, and we must always be open, transparent, and accountable. While not being the only reason the current debate around BBC News has understandably contributed to my decision, overall, the BBC is delivering well, but there have been some mistakes made, and as Director General, I have to take ultimate responsibility. BBC Chairman Samir Shah said Davie has been an outstanding Director General for the past 5 years. Turnus commented on the scandal in her resignation letter to staff on November 9th. The ongoing controversy around the panorama on President Trump has reached a stage where it's causing damage to the BBC, an institution that I love, Turnus wrote. As CEO of the BBC News and Current Affairs, the buck stops with me, and I took the decision to offer my resignation to the Director General last night. Turnus continued, in public life, leaders need to be fully accountable, and that is why I am stepping down. While mistakes have been made, I want to absolutely clear recent allegations BBC News is institutionally biased or wrong. It was just that one time. The News Corporation was accused. It wasn't just that one time, but we're running with it, folks. Let them live in the make-believe world. The News Corporation was accused of. They did. It's documented. Selectively editing the speech Trump made on the day of the 2021 U.S. Capitol breach in its broadcast on October 28, 2024, titled Donald Trump, A Second Chance. There it probably is better to go ahead and read this part. The Panorama episode, which aired 1 week before the 2024 presidential election, spliced together two clips from the speech, creating the impression that Trump said, we're going to walk down to the Capitol and I'll be with you. And we fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. BBC was accused of editing the separate remarks to mislead viewers. They did edit the remarks. The question is, did they do it purposely to mislead viewers? I can't believe they would even discuss that one. Top people in the BBC, including Tim Davie, the boss, are all quitting, fired because they were caught doctoring. This is what Trump said. In any part of that, did you hear an apology for what they did? At any point in that, and guys, there are 1,000 articles from around the world on this. I don't know about 1,000, but a lot. And not a single one of them I could find in any way apologize or admit anything. They all say, hey, sorry, this may have messed up your trust. Didn't say what may have messed up your. We haven't been as good as we need to be, but we're a great organization. But nowhere in there are they willing to say, it appears they're willing to say, we edited it to make him look more violent. Nowhere are they going to say that. Nowhere are they going to say, oops, I got caught. Because they don't feel guilty about what they did. They only feel guilty. The people are demanding, well, somebody take responsibility for what they've done. This is kind of like the apology that's not really apology. It's all right. Since you're making me apologize, screw you. That's what it sounds like to me. Not, hey, We attempted to change the electoral outcome of another nation, supposedly our absolute best ally. So the BBC shat upon the entire electorate, whether you're Republican or Democrat of the United States, whether you're independent, whether you're just a voter. They try to affect the outcome for you. To me, absolutely inexcusable. Period. Let's see, if this agreement to end the filibuster didn't happen the 41st day, would have been catastrophic for the rest. G-Baghdad, you have to tell me what you mean on that one. I believe the BBC owes the world an apology. They also want an apology to the people of England, well, the UK as well. Yeah, Beach Brat, I'm with you. This is one, if you guys don't know what we're talking about here, Beach Brat just said they're having a conversation without me, but I'm butting in on your conversation. Beach Brat said, Farmer V, over a 30-year mortgage, you pay for your home 3 times with interest of 0%. Why would you need a 50-year? Well, one, no part of me thinks you're going to get a 0% interest mortgage rate. It makes no sense. It is absolutely illogical because now we have to have real money. So whoever's putting that money up for your loan has money that is absolutely sitting there doing zilch, zero, nothing. It makes no sense. If you're going to ask me to put on my money, unless you're my family member or my child, I'm not putting up my money for you for 30 years, 50 years, so that I can make absolutely nothing. I could hold it as gold. I could hold it as whatever. I could buy a rental house. I could do something like that. So you're going to have to pay interest. I mean, that's just, think about it. Break out the old logic there. I'm not beating on you in any way on this one. I'm just saying in general, because a lot of people out there, oh, we're going to 0% interest. I need you to think about the logic and the mechanics of going to there. It sounds really cool, but it doesn't make any financial sense at all. In an ideal world, I mean, we just give everybody a free house, which would be kind of cool. But all right, let's get back to it. Trump saying that in order to help younger people be able to afford homes, he wants to introduce a 50-year mortgage. Scocks, yeah, just back up, buddy. We talked about the rupiah earlier. We even had an article or a piece, X post. Just jump right in there. I'm going to put it in chat on that front. Boom, boom, boom. Spinning. Okay, anyways, let's get back to it. So what is the point of a 50-year mortgage? And if Trump truly feels this way, then I'm going to question him. And you should too. Or is he just trying to get us to think? In other words, does he want that reaction? Kind of like the Canada thing. Do y'all really think the U.S. is going to go in there and make you guys our 51st, 52nd, 54th state and all? If you do, you're idiots. I mean, absolutely flaming idiots. What he has done, though, is trying to get you guys to open your eyes and fight for your country and pay attention to your politics. He has trolled Canadian leadership big time. Now, if we end up with a couple of states out of it because people love freedom, I am for it. But you obviously don't understand Trump if you are knee-jerk reacting and going, oh my God, he's trying to get you to pay attention and question your leaders. He does the same thing with the U.S. news. He plays it for a reaction to get you to think. Similar to A Modest Proposal, the book. It was a deeply satirical piece about eating babies during a famine, because what else are you going to do? In other words, pushing politicians and nobility to do something. Trump is pushing the Canadians to stand up and the Canadian bureaucrats and politicians to take responsibility with the people. To me, I'm just kind of like this. I'm like, how dumb are people? I'd be okay if they became part of the U.S. I mean, I love my Canadian folks. See, that's just it. Does he mean that he wants 50-year mortgages, or does he want us to talk about how unaffordable housing is and how we need to make changes? I'm reading a few of these. I saw that one, the only Roy Hobbs. Yeah. How did Lewis do, guys? I ended up having to work my butt off for Saturday. Just a rough day. How did Lewis do? I hate to miss that. I know. I've got to wrap this up and get to the mushroom ladies. That's what I'm saying, Joyce. Don't knee-jerk react. Find out, is he trying to get us to have the discussion about the affordability of housing, rates, interest rates, homes, all of that? Or is he thoroughly mean or absolutely mean or whatever you want to call it? Does he mean that it's a 50-year mortgage, that things have just gotten so unaffordable, we just need to suck it up and play the game? I'm not playing the game. There are better answers. We can change the rules of this monkey. Mark 7 deep. Don't worry, some activist judge somewhere will stop Trump from doing anything to help us. They're going to try, and they continue to try. All right, now we need to get to them. I am going to be in chat. Mushroom Lady is going to be with us. I'm going to sing to the United States Marine Corps. Grayson, Evan, Rick, Wanda, Bigfoot, Sherry, anybody else? Blue-eyed, they nuked the filibuster. We, let's see. Yeah, had an article on it to share. They nuked the filibuster by the exact number of votes needed, with a 60-40 vote. Now the Senate bill goes back to the House for any additions, changes, whatever, which we don't believe there will be any. So it's probably just a rubber stamp vote in the House. Senate gives it a rubber stamp, and it sits on president's desk waiting for him to sign it. I'm being told about 2 days to get it signed, and the government money to start flowing as they start the reopen process. So they tell me it's your birthday. Well, happy birthday, darling. May you live, may you love, may all your dreams come true. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to all those celebrating. I see Melody with one as well. For the Canadians that took offense, I don't think any of you did. But just in case, I'm not beating on you guys at all. Trump is simply, in my opinion, and the opinion of most people that are close to him, just trying to wake you up to pay attention to your politicians and to demand freedom. Let's see. The new U.S. Treasury notes do each have a golden laden strip that equals the gold value of each bill. Dragon Poker, I've not heard that from anybody, period. It would be a foolish thing to do with the gold if you are backed by. It wouldn't make financial sense because it would be so much more costly to produce the currency instead of just holding the metal, even if you're making it redeemable. It would not be logical for me. I've not heard that from anybody, but the logic of it doesn't make any sense. I mean, because then it would cost you a small fortune for each bill. If they were going to do that, it would make more sense instead of having a bill just to have gold coins, silver coins, rather than even print a bill. It just wouldn't make sense. What makes the most sense, if we ever thought about it, think about this one, guys, and just flush it around in your mind. Tell me what you think. If we, the people, said, screw it, we don't need a bank. I know it's not as portable, but if we all went to gold and silver transactions, started leaving out the banks, leaving out the businesses, buying from individuals, go see the local farmer, use some silver dimes, etc., you wouldn't need a bank. Inflation wouldn't exist. Now, you'd have a problem if you wanted to buy something online, so you'd have to figure that one out, but a mechanism is really pretty easy to figure out on that front. You could have your local coin shop could have a metals ATM where they charge you like 2%. You bring in your coins, they give you 2% less than that of money on the card. You buy whatever you need. And basically, we would put ourselves on a gold, silver standard. We could do this around the world. And then you wouldn't need a bank. You need a bank, you need a government. Still need a government to pave the roads, pick up your trash, unless you want to take care of your trash yourself. But you get the idea here. We have had the ability as the consumer and as we, the people around the world, since day one. They've just convinced us that we don't have the power. And they've done that through intimidation, debanking, locking people up, things like that. I mean, we're run by the mafia, guys. It's just the Rockefeller or the Rothschilds mafia. Silver is running. Let's do this one. quick update on pricing. Waiting for it to update. Just hit the refresh button. Bam. Let's see. It's going to scroll along the top. Gold, 4,085. So it's pushed down a touch. Silver at $50.04, according to Miles Franklin. So it is pushed down a touch during the day. And I had just a quick back and forth via email with one of you guys earlier about this run up. And I said the level of effort, the degree to which they react to this pushback is going to tell us how desperate they are. The harder they push back with selling and buying paper silver today to affect it, here we go. Silver now down 49.98 will show you how terrified the big banks and the governments are right now. The bigger the reaction, the bigger the fear that the bubble is burst and they can't control it anymore. All right, let's get to it. Let's add the ladies. Hello, mushroom ladies.
Hi, Mark.
Now, I know you may have something already prepared, but we had somebody earlier, I guess a family member, somebody's been diagnosed with cancer, and they were like, oh my God, what was this one you've had these on? I think it's a mushroom. Who is it? And I commented, I hope she saw that one, that it is the perfect day to ask that question because it's Turkey Tail, and we've got you ladies on today. So, I mean, the timing couldn't have been better, serendipitously, that you guys are with us today. You're muted.
It looked so important.
Sorry about that. Yeah, but first of all, Mark, you know the whole sleep with MarkZ. I mean, we remember sitting and laughing so hard. But the best line ever was my husband stood up and looked at the TV and said, I'll sleep with MarkZ if it makes these things go any faster. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then he says, and you have permission to sleep with MarkZ if this makes this thing go faster. That was such a funny bit. How many years ago was that? What, 3 years ago?
Like 3 years ago, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, too funny. That just tells you how long. Well, gosh, Mark, we appreciate you so much. We appreciate this platform. I'm excited because Fernando's auction, we got the freeze-dried food off the winner. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that one, just a real quick one. We're trying to figure out a time. My schedule this week is slammed, but I'm trying to figure out a time to get Fernando in here to give us an update on just how the auction went. And they have had some recent operations, and they want to give us some updates on those. All right, you just keep running.
Yeah, I think he should do another one because it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I went shopping. It was affordable items and it was a lot of fun. Our Halloween costume winner, we had some great costumes. I mean, this one, look at how cute this is.
Oh, no, wait a minute.
Okay, that is the winner. That is Chanel, Coco Chanel, dressed like a little Star Wars Ewok. And Coco belongs to Eunice Docampo. And congratulations, because Coco now gets some freeze-dried food, probably enough to last that little thing quite a while. And we're also going to talk about what not to feed our pets at Thanksgiving later on today. And Kukla, bless her heart, is going to have this up in the Telegram room tonight because it is really important. But I also have a couple of other cute ones. This is King, who came.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back to you so they can see King.
This is King. King for his Halloween costume. Look at how cute King is. And then this is Seven. Now, the story of Seven being a pirate, Seven only has one eye. So it's actually pretty apropos that Seven is a pirate. But we got some really cute pictures. We got a lot of great orders, and we really appreciate everybody participating. We love doing these contests. It's so great. So we are the Mushroom Ladies. I'm Diana. I'm certified in holistic pet care and CBD for animals and people. And this is Kristen, and she is certified in mycology. We're both certified in pet nutrition. And today we're going to talk a little bit about pet nutrition and about minerals, because we haven't really spent a lot of time on that. Our flagship product is the Coriell's versicolor mushroom, which, because we had somebody early on talk about cancer, I hate to be repetitive, but every time I tell this story, we get a phone call from someone who says, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I heard you. I wasn't going to watch today, but for some reason I was compelled to watch, or I never turned this on and I found you. And oh my gosh, the timing was perfect. So my cancer story is pretty simple. I was diagnosed in February of 2020, colon cancer, told I had to wait 30 days for surgery because it was during pandemic. was kind of a scary time because I really didn't have anything in my toolbox. The world was shut down. You couldn't even go see your doctor. And I took 10 a day of the Coriellus versicolor mushroom. Now, why did I take 10? Because normal dose for someone my size would have been 3 a day, and I tripled up. You can't take too many. And honestly, I was scared, and I wanted to slap my immune system into submission. That was the reason that I decided to take 10. And 30 days later, when I got the call that I had been approved for surgery, I went in for my pre-op blood work. And my oncology department called me and said, we need to do a video conference with you immediately. That was scary. I thought, oh boy, they're canceling my surgery. What's going on? That kind of how we think when you're dealing with something like cancer. And the doctor was on the other end of the video conference smiling. And he said, what are you doing? And I just thought that was the most bizarre question. But he said, you're in remission. And I remember thinking, oh, I know those are good words, but really, what does that really mean? And so he explained to me that every cancer has a marker, and that is how your doctor checks your progress. In my case, my markers were off the charts. They should have been 2.5. And that day I was 0.05. So yeah, my story is pretty amazing. I'm 5 years, 6 months cancer-free. I feel better than I have ever felt. And it's been an exciting journey for me. I will also say I did chemo because I had a 40% chance of reoccurrence with the type of cancer I had. And I had read studies from Sloan Kettering and MD Anderson about how the chemotherapy could actually be complemented by the Coriellus versicolor mushroom. So during the time that my body was being ravaged and it was being destroyed, every healthy cell was being killed by chemotherapy, the Coriellus versicolor mushroom, the Inforce in the green bottle, literally was helping my body repair, rebuild, replenish, restore faster than it was being destroyed. At the end of this journey of 1 year, my numbers, everything was better than pre-cancer. I mean, how does that happen? Most of the time when you're done with chemotherapy, you're depleted and you have to spend the next couple of years rebuilding. I was already rebuilt. And I thank God every day for this mushroom because it's just a natural whole food. We're excited to be able to offer it. If somebody is dealing with this catastrophic condition, please reach out to me at the original MarkZpets@gmail.com. I'll be happy to chat with you, talk to you a little bit about what we've done. This is not a cure. It is not a treatment. It doesn't heal. It's just God's given way to protect our body's immune system. So it's pretty exciting. There's over 400 medical studies on this mushroom. But today we're going to spend some time talking about our animals' nutrition and our animals' mineral deficiencies. I get a lot of questions on this. And so I'm going to turn it over to Kristen. Kristen's going to spend some time talking about nutrition, about pet foods, and about our food line and what we have to offer. So Kristen, take it away.
Thanks, Diana. Thanks for sharing your story. It's always so inspiring as, the most challenging, uncertain, frightening times of our lives, that there's hope and that God has given us ways that we can help the body get the support that it needs to fight through those things. So thank you so much for sharing that.
And something happened this morning. I forgot. I'm so sorry to interrupt. So the first show that we were on, we got a call from a lovely couple, and Chuck was in really bad shape. Chuck had cancer, blood cancer, bone cancer, I believe both. I'm not sure. He was going to Johns Hopkins for treatment. It was really scary. And he came and he saw our show and he went on our mushroom and he's doing fantastic 2 years later. He was able to, he was looking at adopting a kitty in July, but I just got a call this morning that they literally they feel so good and he's so healthy that they've moved back to their original birthplace home to now care for his elderly parents. That's how good he feels. Isn't that like amazing that we were part of that whole journey? I'm sorry to interrupt, but I had to tell you that story. That's amazing.
That's full chills.
I know, me too. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it's just, it's amazing what is accessible for us. We just have to rediscover it and refine what's already been set for us. And you were talking a little bit about nutrition. And I think that when you look at what's happening with our pets, all of you on this podcast right now, our pets are living half as long as they used to. Remember 20, 30 years ago, our pets were not dying at 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old. They were living to be 17 to 20. There's a reason why 65% of our pets are getting cancer today. 1 out of 3 of our pets are developing allergies. We see the streaking eyes, the itching and the scratching and the dander. There's a reason why 1 out of 5 develops an autoimmune disease. We see chronic arthritis and pain and all of these different issues, these growths and tumors growing on them. And we saw a really good documentary called Pet Fooled. And what they found in that documentary is that the majority of these conditions are actually stemming from exposure to the foods and the treats and the toys that our pets are chewing on and ingesting. And it goes into great detail about how many of these large manufacturers have been exchanging quality ingredients for fillers. And they've done it little by little over decades. And it's compounded to the point now where the food is not even considered food anymore. It's so synthetic. It's so artificial. There's so many chemicals and dyes and sugars in it that it really has no nutritional or mineral value at all. And so when people are dealing with those types of things, I always like to share with them, look at what you're currently feeding your pet. And if you have questions, take a picture of your bag, email it to us, the original markzpets@gmail.com, and we'll let you know if it's a good quality food or not. But we need to be feeding our pets foods that are made with human grade whole foods, made in human grade kitchens. If it's not something that you're willing to eat yourself or put in your own mouth, I don't recommend giving it to your pet. That's how much you should trust the brand. We should be giving them organic, clean, pure, non-genetically modified ingredients, right? No wheat, no corn, no soy. That should not be a part of their diets. We should be giving them products that are not only made in the United States, which a lot of them are, but also sourced. Because, you have a question?
No, I've been busy working away and it turned itself back on. I've been sitting here like working in the background and answering questions. I'm going to go away again.
But we want to make sure that it's also sourced in the United States, because even these higher end brands are importing their ingredients and we're finding really high levels of radiation and heavy metals in these ingredients. No animal byproducts at all. So this could include euthanized animals, roadkill, animals that are too sick for human consumption, all get sold to pet food manufacturers at a discount. So if you have anything that says animal byproducts, I recommend getting rid of it. I don't trust it. You don't know exactly what that means. We also want to make sure the foods are baked at really low temperatures so there are no carcinogens. Most of the kibble, which 80% of us have our pets on a kibble diet because it's more convenient and it's more affordable, but most of that kibble's flash cooked around 400 degrees and it chars the kibble. And that's why there's so many carcinogens, which is why many of our pets are getting these different types of cancers. We also want to stay away from anything artificial or synthetic. So no preservatives, no sugars, no chemicals, no fillers or allergens. And then, of course, we want to make sure that we're implementing natural support that has intention, that is conscious, that actually helps our pets to have better quality of lives and help their bodies to fight against all these invaders, rebalance itself, rebuild itself, repair itself, regulate itself. So that's why, in response to all that's been happening in the pet food industry, we originally were just giving treats and gravies for dogs and cats and horses that had the Coriolis versicolor mushroom to help their immune system, because all of these things that I just talked about are compromising the immune system and weakening it. So we're like, we need to get this into their bodies as quickly as possible to give their immune system that support to fight back against everything that we're giving them. But because of an overwhelming demand, people started reaching out to us asking, can you guys please provide a better food? Because yes, I'm giving them this mushroom and yes, it's helping them, but I'm still feeding them the same food. So it's still the body fighting the same problem over and over and over again every day. And if you really want to accelerate their progress, you could switch the source of what's creating the problems. And so that's why we now have a kibble, we have a canned food that is AAFCO. It adheres to their guidelines. It has probiotics in it, prebiotics, all naturally sourced taurine, and it is so much better for them, baked at very low temperatures using clean meat sources only, no antibiotics, no hormones, no steroids. Chicken is a really big deal right now. We're hearing pet parents all the time saying, well, my pet's allergic to chicken. That's very rare. It's very rare for your pet to be allergic to the actual protein. However, What most of our pets are reacting to is what is being pumped into the chickens that we're feeding them. All the junk that's in those chickens, all the garbage that they're being fed, that's what our pets' bodies are reacting to. So sometimes if you just switch to a better source of chicken, they don't have a reaction anymore. So I always encourage people, if you want to really help, again, accelerate their progress, then switch the foods that we're feeding them, get them on a higher quality food so they're not currently fighting against it over and over and over again. And on top of that, the canned food has a much higher moisture content. It also has the Coriolis versicolor mushroom in it. And so it more positively impacts their digestive system. I always encourage, give your pet a little bit of higher moisture food if you can, whether it's raw, whether it's canned, whether it's freeze dried that you're rehydrating. They need more of that moisture content. Just imagine if every day for your whole life you ate cereal without milk. Every meal, every day for your whole life. Like, what would that do to your digestive system? So we want to have variety. We want to have more moisture in there. And we also do have a freeze-dried option for dogs and cats as well that retains 200% more nutrients. So it is a better, more effective process, but we also include the immune supporting Coriolis versicolor mushroom in it, as well as mineral rich antler powder. And it's a very minimal formula. So there are some alternatives now that you're able to give your pets if you are concerned. If you do change your pet's diet, on our website, under each of our food products, at the very bottom, you're going to see a transition guide. It can be shocking for their system if you switch them from one food to another food without transitioning them. So please take the time to just go down there and look at that transitioning guide. If you do decide to switch them, whether it's our food or any other food, please follow that transition guide. Again, you can see it at markzpets.com under all of the food products. But we really want to get the word out, educate pet parents on what to look for when you're shopping for your pets. Let them know that there are better options that are a lot more effective, in many cases more affordable. I know people that are paying hundreds of dollars a month for their food, and their pets are still having a lot of these issues. So we wanted to make sure that these were not only better quality and better for our pets, but also accessible to the average person, because our pets are our family and we want them to be with us a long time. And I see there's a question there. Taking Enforce. Oh, congratulations. Thanks for sharing that. So for the Enforce capsules, if you're just for maintenance or well-being, we recommend 1 capsule for every 50 pounds. And you can split it up if you want daily, or you can take it all at one time, doesn't matter. If you are dealing with some concerns, then we recommend just doubling that. So 2 capsules for every 50 pounds daily. If you're dealing with something like what Diana was going through, you might want to triple or quadruple that. We recommend anywhere from 9 to 15 capsules a day. And I know it sounds like a lot, but you only do that until you see some resolution. And as you start to see some resolution, then you can just go down to that normal amount, because you can't take too much of it. It doesn't interact with any medications or treatments. You can't get addicted. You can't overdose. It's no different from eating a mushroom on a salad. So the more that you feed your body, the more that you get it into your system at the beginning, then your immune system can really start modulating and working to rebalance and resolve what's happening inside of the body. And Diana, you're still muted.
I have 2 dogs here, and there's a cat outside who's taunting them, and they are barking like crazy because this cat's out there just going, look at me, look at me. Oh, so I apologize if they start barking. Kristen, this food is amazing, and the cat food. I can only tell you, I have had more people. In fact, Mike Barra's cats wouldn't eat anything, and boom, this food, now she can't get enough of it. And he'll tell you her coat is shinier, her hair isn't falling out like it used to. But it took us a while. We really had to encourage her, because I think she was eating junk. Sorry, Mike, but you were feeding her junk, and she would rather eat candy.
It's not intentional. It's we can't imagine how low quality these foods would be. How are they even allowed to sell it? It's so loosely regulated. Like we can't be upset with ourselves because it's false marketing, it's false advertising. But once we learn, we can respond and start doing something different.
Well, and when you think about it, slaughterhouse meat is allowed to be put in pet food. I mean, we're talking about dead, decaying, dying, diseased animals. And it's not even fit for human consumption. and it's allowed to be put in our pet food. That just makes me crazy. So thank you, Kristen, for that. We're going to talk about minerals, but before, I want to just chat about our food. You know, sometimes when people look at the price of our food, they'll go, oh my gosh, that's crazy. But you have to look at dollar per dollar, apples per apples, not apples to oranges. Our food feeds less. If you feed less, what do you have less of to clean up in your backyard? Think about it. So our food, yeah, exactly. So we feed less. And that in turn brings the price down a little bit. We also have added the Coriellus versicolor mushroom in it. I mean, that's a huge cost benefit. And prebiotics and probiotics. If you're giving your dog prebiotics and probiotics, you know you're spending $20, $30 a month. Oh, and did I remember that we also have taurine in our food? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I was wrong. Did I say we put the Coriellus versicolor mushroom in our dog food?
It is in the canned food.
Yeah.
And the freeze-dried food. It's just not in the kibble.
Right. And then antler powder, which we're going to talk about. So thank you, Kristen. You're going to come back on in a couple minutes and talk about the advocate program. I'm going to touch on minerals. You know, minerals are so important. And a lot of times we don't even understand, like, what do? Well, they do things for humans and they do things for animals, that they support the heart, the liver, the kidneys, the organs. And a lot of our animals are deficient in this area. In the wild, they would be foraging and they'd be eating carcasses. They would be chewing on tree bark. They'd be eating dirt. They'd be eating little pieces of rock. They'd be doing these things to keep their minerals level up. But because they're in a domesticated situation, you know, we owe it to them to provide them the best we can provide them because they're not in their normal habitat. So minerals help the nervous system. They help promote mitochondrial health. They also help with muscle growth, strength, energy, help your dog to run and play more. And we really have to also know that a lot of dogs that have lymphomas and osteocarcomas, those literally are because of a mineral deficiency. A dog that's been on a lot of medication, just like a human, minerals are so important. So how do we know if they have a mineral deficiency? Well, a lot of dogs licking their paws all the time. Now, first of all, if they're licking their paws and the paws smell like Fritos, then we've got a yeast infection. That's easy to fix. Email me and I'll give you a little recipe that you can try. But if the paws don't smell like Fritos, they're looking for something. They're looking for the minerals that their little feet got when they were on the ground, pulling these minerals out of the earth. I have a tragic story. My dog, once you look at this x-ray, so right here, that's a rock. Now remember, my dog's intestines was this big. The rock was that big, okay? We noticed that our dog was having an obsession with rocks. I mean, like he was carrying them around. He couldn't get enough. We didn't understand that he was also eating them because he was lacking minerals. One day he started having like seizures and convulsions, and we knew something was wrong. We took him to the vet. They couldn't figure it out. They thought it was neurological, but the way he was tremoring, and then he'd be fine, and then he'd be tremoring. What we didn't know is that this rock was going through his intestines, and every time it moved, it sent him into convulsions. It was tragic. I mean, Kristen and Kurt came over to our house to say goodbye to our dog because the pup was in such bad shape. They were talking surgery, which the minute you cut open the intestines, you got all kinds of issues. So we ended up being able to get this rock out of him naturally. He passed it, which was unbelievable. The poor little baby, what he went through. But the minute that we got this rock out of his body, we put him on mineral therapy. And we're going to talk about that. And within about 5-6 days, he quit his obsession with rocks. He didn't need it anymore. His body was feeling better. You know, we see x-rays like this all the time with people's dogs, with bones, with pieces of foam, with all kinds of things. And there's a reason these dogs eat these things. They're looking for something that's missing in their diet. They're smart animals. They know something's missing. So what do? Well, we have a couple things. We have antlers. And I know Kristen did not know that these naturally fall off. And it's really kind of funny because she's a city girl. But these naturally fall off. They're elk and deer antlers. This is a whole antler. This is not split. We also have splits. But look how beautiful this is. It's filled with bone marrow. This is the most incredible thing you can give your animal to occupy him, to give him exercise in his mouth, in his jaw, but also to get minerals into his body. Now, when you go to buy these, be very careful that they are not bleached or painted like the big box stores sometimes are accused of doing. You want to make sure you're getting A or B antlers, which we have. And yes, they're a little pricey, but for what you get, my dog literally can gnaw on an antler for 2, 3, 4 months. Now, I have an aggressive chewer, so I will take it away from him occasionally and put it in the freezer, and he'll just sit and look at the freezer door until he forgets about it, which isn't very often. But the other thing that we have too is that we have Bucky Bites. Bucky Bites are amazing because they're an edible treat. And as with all of our products, no wheat, no soy, no corn, no preservatives. And we have glucosamine, chondroitin, and keratin, which helps with their hips, their joints, and their movement. So, you know, it's just an important reminder that we have to help these animals who are living in our homes get what they need. Imagine being put in someone's home and only being fed what they gave you. I mean, think about that. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, not so great, right? So some of the other things that minerals can do is they have lipids, they have calcium, they have glucosamine, they have potassium, they have phosphorus, they have magnesium. All of these things are everything from bone and teeth to nerve and muscle to growth to collagen, all of the things that our animals need. So today we really want you to reevaluate what you're feeding. Take a look at our food line. If you are feeding a food, please send me a picture of the front and the back, the front and the back. Make sure that I can read it. And I will do an analysis for you. I'm not just trying to sell you a food. I'm just trying to help you get the best food for your animal. You know, sometimes someone will send me a brand and they'll say, oh my gosh, you know, I'm feeding this brand and I really like it. But I'll do the analysis and I'll see that it's only a 3-star. Yet within that brand, there are 5-star foods. So I can kind of gear you and steer you towards the right one. As Kristen said, you know, the top 95% of food is made by the 3 biggest candy companies in the country. Think about that. That's who's making your dog food. The number 1 veterinarian food is the number 1 recalled food. Think about that. And the number 1 selling food in the country is the number 2 recalled food. Do we really want to do that to our fur babies? What's one vet bill? Right? Also, if you go on Smart Ship with our food program, this bag, which is really heavy, I have it empty so I can lift it up. But this is a really heavy bag. You know, it's a 12-pound bag. $10 for shipping on Smart Ship. And I think about that and I think for me to pick it up in the grocery store, put it in my cart, go to the scanner, run it over the scanner, put it back in the cart, take it to my car, put it in my car, take it to my house, take it out of my house, take it in the house. I'd rather pay the $10 and have it delivered and know that it's going to come every single month as I need it. Our Smart Ship program allows you to put it on hold, to pause it, to change it with one click. So also, whenever you order from us, you are helping the MarkZ community so that we can do great programs. We can do some giveaways. We can do things to help. And we really appreciate that. And I know Mark appreciates it too. I'm going to turn it back over to Kristen, and she's going to end with our advocate program. Kristen.
Yeah, thanks, Diana. And, you know, on top of what you were saying about those candy companies, one of those candy companies actually has a veterinary clinic, and they're purchasing up all of the smaller veterinary clinics and animal hospitals all around the country. And so there's something going on that we really need to pay attention to, and we really need to, again, respond to. And that's one thing that I'm incredibly grateful for, is that we do have an affiliate program. We see what's happening. We see the suffering that a lot of these animals and people are going through. We see where people are sending their money, and we see what it's supporting. And so we want to do good with this company as well. We don't want to just be another brand and be another company. We actually want to redistribute those resources by redirecting the spending. So as people are choosing better options for their pets and for themselves, we want to put a lot of those resources back into good people's hands, right? People that are being a voice for those that don't have one, people that are changing the way that pets and people are being treated. And so every pet, every person, every day matters. And being a part of the rewards program has been the most meaningful work that I've really ever done. It's become a ministry for me. I just see how God is using us, and I see how God is using these products and this company. And I'm just so grateful that I get to be a part of it. But when we take a lot of this money that's being misdirected through the big pharma of the pet industry and then just put it back into the hands of good people like yourselves, that's where we can really create change on a local level. Like we can all start impacting our homes better, which will impact our neighborhood, which will impact our families and our cities. And it will just kind of go from there. The micro always creates the macro. And that's what our affiliate program does. So I want to thank all of you that are already affiliates with us. It's something that we do not take for granted. We're just so grateful for your voice. And if you are interested in learning more about how that works, it's just a real simple program. Just reach out to us at the original MarkZPets@gmail.com. We can give you more details on that, or maybe you know somebody that loves animals or works with animals, or maybe has influence and would really care about our mission to change the way that pets and people are being treated. We'd love to be connected with them. So again, you can just email us at the original MarkZPets@gmail.com, or you can just also go to MarkZPets.com and see some information there. But I want to thank you all for all of you on here. You're not consumers. You're not just watching things happen. You're all contributors in each of your ways. And I can see people giving recommendations and sharing tips and, sharing testimonials and all of those different types of things. That's because we all love each other deeply and we care about each other and we want to help each other. So I just want to let you all know how much we appreciate this community, and MarkZ, how much we appreciate you for being the voice of this community and leading it as we go out and change the world, and instead of waiting for other people to do it for us.
Thank you. I didn't know if I was supposed to come back yet, but I took the thank you as an opportunity to
Yay. We love seeing that smiling face.
It's
I love
good to smile.
Flower Point said, we humans should eat your pet food. It sounds more nutrition than most of our human food. That's a great line.
Not bad.
Probably should.
Hey, we've eaten it, right, Kristen?
It's not
We've
bad.
tried all of it. Kristen and I have tried all of it. Yep.
Yeah, you were those kids.
Well, I ate milk bones when I was a little kid on a dare, and actually they weren't that bad. So
I haven't started barking yet, so
that's right.
I'm glad you added the yet. Somebody asking, I don't know if you have time for a couple of questions or not, but we had some people asking some specific things.
Well, I will tell you, we have a great story on Parkinson's. In 2024, the American Medical Association actually linked the brain to the immune system. This was a huge, huge finding, because up until then, they always said the brain had nothing to do with the immune system. We have a gentleman in Hawaii. He lives in Hawaii and in Reno, part-time both. He was fighting Parkinson's and dementia. We started him on, of course, our first go-to product, which is the Enforce. He started taking the double the normal dose, 1 per 50 pounds is the normal dose. He doubled up, and that was to get his immune system working properly. Then we added to it the complementary mushroom of the lion's mane. Now, I will tell you, he's been dealing with Parkinson's for about, it was 4 years when we met him. And he was also experiencing signs of dementia that his family was very concerned about. About 6 months into it, he went to his next checkup. And this is what I love about what we do. We get irrefutable numbers, right, Kristen? We get numbers that we can go, oh, look at those numbers. And for the first time in the 3 or 4 years, his Parkinson's had not progressed. Mm-hmm. Now, we're about 3 years into it with him. His Parkinson's still hasn't progressed. That's huge. It hasn't gone backwards, but it's not getting worse. And the family has noticed a huge difference in the dementia issues. So again, we got the immune system healthy, got it moving correctly, and then we added the nerve and brain support with the Clarity mushroom. Do you have anything to add to that one, Kristen?
I will say you can go online and you can see there are so many studies that have been done on lion's mane and how it affects those cognitive issues like dementia and Parkinson's and neuropathy and Alzheimer's, which we're dealing with at larger and larger numbers today at younger and younger ages. So this is something that's very concerning that needs to be resolved. And so, yes, we found the combination of the Coriolis versicolor and the lion's mane together really give the brain the support that it needs and the body the support it needs to balance that out.
Yeah, it's a win-win. And when I hear these stories make my heart sing, because it means what we're doing, Kristen, we're making a difference. And that's why we both are doing this business that we're doing and working with so many people. Food for new puppies. Okay, our food is all life stages. So, but I will say, when you have a new pup, remember one thing, that pup has 18 months to do everything that it takes a human 25 years to do. Bones, ligaments, hair, skin, organs, everything has to be developed in rapid record-setting time. So put that puppy on mush puppies, because what's going to happen is you're going to give that puppy, the immune system, more support to do the job that it needs to do better. In other words, you're going to give this pup a better foundation. I hear people all the time that say, oh, he's a puppy, he doesn't need any supplements. Wrong. Their body is working at such huge speed. So yes. Definitely our food is an all stage life food, as well as get them the mush puppies.
Yeah. I see the question about weight. That's a very good question. And there are so many different things that are impacting our weight, whether it's maybe poor gut health, maybe the microbiome's out of balance. It could be a hormonal imbalance that's creating the weight gain, or difficulty managing a healthy weight. It could be stress, right? It could be the adrenals and the system is just completely out of whack because of all the stress or trauma that we're dealing with. So there are a lot of different things. Could be depression. I mean, there's so many different things that can affect maintaining a healthy weight. And so there are two things that I recommend for that. Of course, first I would do the Coriolis versicolor mushroom, because the immune system knows what your ideal weight is. Your immune system knows what your perfect weight is for your body type. And so if there is a hormonal imbalance, if there is an imbalance in the microbiome, if it is depression, whatever it may be, the immune system knows what to do to help resolve that. So first and foremost, I would start taking the Coriolis versicolor mushroom so the immune system can start repairing, rebuilding, rebalancing, resolving what's happening in the body. And then I would also add the clarity as well, which is the lion's mane mushroom. And again, you can look up studies and learn about how the lion's mane mushroom is impacting maintaining a healthy weight. There are so many, there's a wealth of information available there, but the studies are so promising. And we have people that have tried all different types of diets, and they get some progress, and then boom, all the weight comes back on, and they haven't been able to keep it off. But we have several people, my mom actually, she's lost 60 pounds since she started adding the clarity to the Coriolis versicolor mushroom, and she's kept it off. She hasn't put any of it back on, and it's now been years. So it can be really helpful. I recommend, again, looking at all the studies that have been done on that so you can see how that's working.
And we just want to touch on one last thing, and that is Thanksgiving. I just got the worst phone call that I've ever gotten from someone. They called and they were sobbing that their dog was in the vet and probably not going to make it because they got a corn cob. And I'm telling you guys, it happens like that. They're worse than kids. They can grab something and run off with it, and sometimes you don't even know. We're going to post the do not eat at Thanksgiving list on the Telegram room. Kukla is always right there for us to help. Mark showed it earlier. If you could go back and screenshot it, print this out. Put it in your lunchrooms. Put it in your office. One dog that we could save because they didn't give them turkey twine or turkey bones. Oh my gosh, turkey bones, the worst. But also secure the trash. You're going to have a crazy Thanksgiving coming up. And I know it's a few weeks away, but it's important that your animals get insanely crazy with all of the people and all the things going on. So let's put them on chill doggies to chill the doggy and to calm them down a little bit. But then also do not screenshot this, please, and put it anywhere you can in your lunchrooms, whatever, because this could save a dog's life. Who would have thought raisins, grapes? Who would have thought? Who would have thought dough? chocolate. I mean, these are so important that you don't give this to your fur babies. And we just want you guys to be out there and have a fabulous Thanksgiving. I think we're going to be on a couple days right before Thanksgiving. So we just want you to start getting the word out. And Mark, thank you again. We appreciate you, and we appreciate all you do for the community. And thank you for allowing us to be back on today.
If any of you have a question that we missed or we weren't able to get to, I know we talk really fast, but it's because we want to try to answer as many questions as we can. Please reach out at the original markzpets@gmail.com, and we will make sure to answer your questions for you. We want to make sure everyone's served well.
Yeah, every single email is answered by me, and sometimes it takes me a day or so, but I get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, thank you for bringing this up. When I saw that this vaccine was introduced, I literally, my stomach like turned, and I was, no way. It was fast tested. It was snuck through, and they euthanized 35 of the 38 dogs that they tested it on. So we don't even really know how they did. So here's the key on this one. Primetime Gal, thank you for bringing this up. If your dog is due for a vaccine and you feel you have to go get it, okay, remember, you feel you really have to go get it. If you feel you have to go get it, talk to your vet. Make sure that they are not giving the new Merck self-replicating mRNA vet vaccine. This is incredible. Kristen, I don't know if you've heard about this. I've got the whole study on it. It is disgusting what they did. They slipped it in, and they tested it on a few dogs, and then they euthanized the dogs. Thank you, Primetime Gal. Again, when you go to your vet, have these conversations. Do they really need this vaccine? Do they really need this rabies shot? They can have a titer test. There's so many things that you guys, this just makes me
Why
crazy.
euthanize them? That's the part that I don't understand. That doesn't make any logical sense to me.
Because we didn't
Don't you want a long-term result?
Yeah. We didn't want to see what was going to happen next. This is crazy. When I read this the other day, I was sick to my stomach. Yeah.
I don't trust any of those vaccines. Those new, they call them lifestyle vaccines that they're requiring your pets to get every single year. There's 6 of them now, now 7. And it's, I too many questions. I don't trust it at all.
I just think back to all the dogs growing up on the farm that never got them. And boy, I tell you, they had long lives.
Exactly. I mean, it's just like the kids, we're going through the same thing. But yeah, thank you, Primetime Gal, for bringing that up. I meant to bring that up today, and I'm just so happy that you did, because it is important. Yeah, why euthanize him, Mark? Why?
That just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I need to call it a wrap, ladies. Thank you. To the rest of you folks, see you tomorrow morning unless we get breaking news. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you.